Port Charles has always been a town where secrets don't stay buried for long. They fester, rot, and eventually explode, usually at the worst possible moment. But this time, the ticking time bomb isn't planted by a mob boss, a rogue spy, or a vengeful ex-lover. This time, it's being carefully assembled by a girl everyone underestimated. Charlotte Cassadine is done being quiet. Done being dismissed as troubled. Done being treated like collateral damage in the endless wars of adults who claim they love her. And now, she's ready to strike. Not with brute force. Not with tears. But with something far more dangerous in Port Charles. The truth, strategically released. At the center of Charlotte's revenge? Nina Reeves. And caught in the blast radius? Willow Tate, whose carefully curated image of innocence may finally crack under the weight of her own guilt. Charlotte learned early that adults lie. They lie to protect themselves. They lie to rewrite history. They lie and call it love. From being shuffled between countries, manipulated by family legacies she never asked for, and constantly told to be understanding, Charlotte absorbed everything. Every whisper. Every argument behind closed doors. Every time her pain was minimized because someone else's feelings mattered more. And the person who disappointed her the most? Nina Reeves. Once upon a time, Nina promised stability, warmth, a sense of belonging. She framed herself as the adult who understood what it meant to lose time, to lose family, to lose control. But in Charlotte's eyes, Nina became something else entirely, a woman who chose her own obsessions over the well-being of the child standing right in front of her. Nina's fixation on Willow. Her endless crusade to justify herself. Her inability to stop centering every conflict around her own victimhood. Charlotte watched it all. Quietly. Carefully. And she started keeping score. Charlotte didn't wake up one morning and decide to destroy Nina. No, this was gradual. Methodical. Cassadine. It started with questions. Then observations. Then late night scrolling through old messages, archived emails, forgotten voice recordings. Charlotte noticed patterns others missed. She saw how Nina panicked whenever Willow's past came up. How conversations suddenly ended when certain dates were mentioned. How Nina flinched, not with anger, but fear, when the subject of Michael, Wiley, or the custody battles resurfaced. Fear doesn't lie. Charlotte realized something crucial. Nina wasn't just defensive. She was hiding. And Willow? Willow wasn't as blameless as everyone believed. In Port Charles, Willow Tate is sacred ground. A devoted mother. A cancer survivor. A woman who endured trauma and came out stronger. But Charlotte doesn't buy the mythology. She remembers the whispers about lies told for the greater good. About decisions made without consent. About secrets that devastated lives, especially children's lives. Charlotte starts connecting dots no one else wants to touch. Willow knew more than she admitted. Willow benefited from Nina's silence. Willow let people suffer rather than risk her own comfort. And the most damning realization of all? Willow never apologized. Not really. Not without conditions. To Charlotte, that wasn't survival. That was guilt. Nina's fatal flaw has always been the same. She underestimates people when she believes she's the smartest person in the room. She sees Charlotte as fragile. As a kid who needs therapy, not agency. As someone to be managed, not feared. And so Nina talks too freely around her. She vents. She defends herself. She rewrites events aloud, assuming Charlotte will absorb the version she's selling. But Charlotte listens like a prosecutor, not a daughter. She records conversations by accident. She saves texts Nina forgets she sent. She keeps a timeline, one that doesn't match Nina's public narrative. Every contradiction becomes a weapon. The turning point comes at a family gathering, one of those Port Charles affairs dripping with forced smiles and unspoken hostility. Willow is there. So is Michael. So is Nina. The tension is thick, but everyone pretends it's fine. Until Charlotte speaks. She asks a simple question. Innocent on the surface. Why did everyone protect Willow's secret for so long if it hurt so many people? The room freezes. Nina laughs it off. Willow stiffens. Michael steps in to redirect. But Charlotte isn't done. She follows up with another question, this one sharper. Who decided whose pain mattered most? No one answers. Because everyone knows the truth. And Charlotte sees it in their faces. Charlotte realizes something powerful that night. She doesn't need to accuse anyone. She just needs to let the truth breathe. Her plan isn't loud. It's surgical. She starts by leaking information, not to the press, but to the right people. A comment to Carly that plants doubt. A detail shared with Ava that sparks curiosity. A timeline casually mentioned to Tracy Quartermain, who never ignores a good scandal. Each piece is true. Each piece is incomplete. Together, they form a story no one can ignore. Nina senses it before she understands it. People start looking at her differently. Conversations stop when she enters rooms. Questions she thought were settled suddenly resurface. She confronts Charlotte, gently at first. But Charlotte doesn't deny anything. She simply asks, "Why are you scared if you did nothing wrong?" That question haunts Nina. Because she knows the answer. Nina isn't afraid of lies being exposed. She's afraid of context. The real shockwave hits when Willow overhears Charlotte speaking to someone else, someone Willow never thought would doubt her. Charlotte doesn't call Willow evil. She calls her complicit. And in Port Charles, that's worse. Suddenly, people remember things differently. Moments where Willow could have spoken up, but didn't. Times she let others take the fall. How often she framed her silence as protecting her family. The narrative shifts. Willow isn't attacked. She's questioned. And Willow has never handled that well. Michael wants to protect Willow. He always has. But Charlotte's information is airtight. No exaggeration. No manipulation. Just facts arranged in a way that forces accountability. Michael realizes something devastating. Defending Willow now means denying reality. And for the first time, he hesitates. That hesitation speaks volumes. Charlotte doesn't expose everything at once. She waits. She lets tension build. And when the moment finally comes, when Nina tries to publicly paint herself as the wronged party, Charlotte steps forward. Not angrily. Calmly. She presents evidence. A timeline. Recorded statements. Contradictions no one can explain away. The room erupts. Nina is humiliated, not because she's attacked, but because she's seen. Willow tries to explain. To justify. To cry. But it's too late. The truth isn't cruel. It's final. Charlotte doesn't celebrate. She doesn't smile. She simply leaves the room. Her revenge was never about destruction. It was about balance. Nina is forced to confront her choices without hiding behind victimhood. Willow must finally answer for the harm she enabled. And Port Charles learns a dangerous lesson. Never underestimate the child who had to grow up watching adults lie. Because Charlotte Cassadine didn't just expose secrets. She changed the rules. And in Port Charles, that kind of power never disappears. It only waits for its next move.